Rams Buffs in a game that will decide Colorado's supremacy.
And the men's golf team driving early in the season.
Baseball safe without a key piece. Sports Mag coming up. Hello and welcome to another edition of CU Sports Mag. I'm Andy McDonald sitting alongside Derek Kessinger. And well, Rocky Mountain Showdown was full effect, and what a game it was.
Yes, it was, and CU and Coach John Embry looking for their first win. Let's go to the highlights. And the Buffs fans excited about this Denver Sports Authority Field matchup against the 2-0 Rams as we head to Mile High Stadium. The captains shook hands with the enemy before the game got underway. First possession. Pete Thomas for the CSU Rams finds a hole and takes advantage deep in Buffs territory for a short game after an impressive early performance by the sophomore. And next play, Buffs D-line proves its might, a trend that would occur over the game, pushing running back Carter back at the Colorado 4. But despite their best efforts, Thomas took the ball early and into the end zone, ending an 80-yard drive with a touchdown. CSU up 7-0, and the few CSU faithful in attendance were happy about that touchdown. Buffs drive. Quarterback Tyler Hansen has no time, taken down at the Buffs 37. Next play, Hansen looks and is looking for a throw, but can find no one downfield. He's finally sacked on the play, and it would end a Buffs drive. They were disappointing early in this game. They would have to punt. We move on to the Rams. Nowaki runs to the CSU 36. That was 3 of his only 29 yards in the game, which was disappointing. Later in the drive, he is stopped again by the Buffs defensive line. Impressive all game, and CU had to punt that ball away.
The CU student section full capacity, some crazy costumes, 57,000 in attendance total. Buffs still down 7-0 with a little over 2 minutes to play. Speedy scampers off the right side for a 12-yard gain. He had 46 yards on the drive, but Hansen gets the strike pay dirt. Here it goes, ties the game at 7 apiece. Hansen to Kyle Cephalo touchdown makes it 14-7 at half. The Buffs scored 2 touchdowns in the final minutes to put that as an emphasis on the foul camp. So John Embry only 30 minutes from his first ever win as a Buff. Speedy, another one of his 19 carries here, 98 total yards, almost breaking the triple-digit barrier, scampering around. The Hansen quartet coming up next. Option off the left side. That's 2 throwing, 2 running. This caps a 16-play, 85-yard drive that took 10 minutes off the clock. Buffs win for the 61st time in school history. Colorado win, taking that trophy with them. Let's look at some stats here. Big game for both players.
CU's victory over CSU could be credited to another strong offensive performance. Sportsmag's Rose Heafy caught up with the leader of the pack, senior quarterback Tyler Hansen.
Quarterback Tyler Hansen couldn't be more pleased with the victory over CSU.
Anytime you can beat your in-state rival, it's something special to you, especially as a senior. And it feels good to finally get a win, being so close the week before. So it's something special.
Hansen had a hand in all 4 of CU's scores, with 2 passing and 2 rushing touchdowns.
I felt really comfortable against CSU, in the pass game and making plays with my feet. I felt really comfortable. It felt good to get 2 touchdowns, especially get one to Tony Clemens, and then it felt good to finally get a touchdown in the ground game, so that felt good.
While he only threw 215 yards against CSU, Hansen threw a record-breaking 474 yards against Cal the week before.
The game, how many yards I threw for, and I thought they were kidding around because I wasn't even close to that. My highest ever thrown, I think, was like 330 or something like that in high school. So that was a really fun game to be a part of, especially to play quarterback in, and hopefully I can do it again.
But Hansen wasn't always at the top of his game, as a ruptured spleen sidelined him last season.
I've never been in the hospital for more than a day, so that was a little difficult, but I feel good now.
And now that he's healthy, Hansen says he's ready.
But I'm good to go.
Rose.
The Pac-12 Conference is staying put at a dozen teams. After weeks of speculation, Commissioner Larry Scott announced that the conference is happy with the current members and the unity that they all share. It was rumored that Texas, Texas Tech, Oklahoma, and Oklahoma State were going to join, making it the first super conference in the nation. However, the main roadblock in the negotiations was Texas, refusing to back an equal revenue sharing plan. The Pac-12 then determined it is in the best interest of the members, institutions, and student athletes to remain in a 12-team conference.
Now it's time to get online and have your voice heard. Although the Buffs travel to Columbus this weekend to play Ohio State, they will be back next week and several more times this season. That brings us to this week's poll question. Which Pac-12 home matchup are you most looking forward to attending? Washington State, Oregon, or USC? Visit us at cusportsmag.com to cast your vote. And don't go anywhere. Andy McDonald shows us how a smile is the furthest thing from John Embry's mind after their win Saturday.
And Double Team will discuss the Buffs game that will be played in front of nearly 100,000 people. Stay tuned.
This is a family that was almost fed by neighbors who almost volunteered to help them out. Almost volunteered. When it comes to giving, almost doesn't count.
How you doing? I just want regular, no sugar today.
You got it.
Thanks. Hello.
Hi.
Did you eat that whole thing today?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi, how you doing?
She's getting big, huh?
Good. Yeah, she is big. Great haircut.
Yeah.
Yeah, looks cute. Come on, let's go. Nice to see you. Thanks a lot.
If only child abuse were this easy to recognize. If you even suspect abuse, call 1-800-4-A-CHILD. All calls are anonymous and confidential. Trust your instincts.
Mom!
What?
You can't find Ichabod.
What?
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who would love to put up with you.
Hey, how's it going? Yeah, how was your weekend? Oh, have you studied for jogging? Oh, yeah. Saturday's victory against Colorado State was John Embry's first career win, but hoisting the Rocky Mountain Showdown trophy wasn't a priority to him. Andy McDonald shows us why smiling isn't the first thing on the head coach's mind.
Your first win as head coach, especially against a rival, should be special.
I'm happy. I'll be happier.
It should be utter elation, pure joy. Instead, it sounds more like relief from head coach John Embry.
Yeah, it felt too businesslike early on, too much like it was, just going out to have a good practice.
Maybe it's because through only 2 games, the Buffs have faced a lot of adversity.
It's easy to say something in August when you're undefeated. It's easy to come out and work hard when you're undefeated, but what do you do when you're 0-2?
Or he knows there are more strides to come.
What do you do when it doesn't look good, where it looks like everything that you wanted to achieve is going to go out the window, it's slipping out of your grasp?
One very large, one giant I-2 dot that will mark the changing of a mentality could come in the form of a win at Ohio State next week. But there is still a lot to fix.
And we kicked the ball out of bounds again. Those things drive me crazy because those are all controllable things.
They will have to play outside themselves to beat the Ohio State. But for now, smile.
But I'm happy.
CU head coach John Embry announced Tuesday that senior running back Brian Lockridge has been named to the AFCA Good Works team. Lockridge is the 4th player in CU history to receive the illustrious award. As one of 22 players on the Good Works team, frequently you'll find Lockridge playing piano at Boulder Community Hospital or cooking meals at homeless shelters around the community. A total of 132 football players from across the country were nominated this season. The only other Pac-12 athlete to receive such an honor was this year's USC quarterback Matt Barkley.
The Colorado Buffaloes will head to Ohio State this weekend. A huge, unrelenting crowd and a national television audience will put the Buffs in the spotlight. Josh Rising and Mike Kerner talk about the keys to the game in this week's Double Team.
Hey, I'm Mike Kerner. Welcome back to Double Team. I'm alongside me with Josh Rising. We're here to talk to you about this OSU football game coming up. But before we get to that game, we're going to get a brief recap of the CU-CSU game.
Yes, one thing that I noticed in this game was that for the 3rd consecutive week, Colorado was slow getting the offense going. For the 3rd week in a row, the offense struggled to get get a touchdown early in the first half. They didn't get their first touchdown until 2:37 left in the first half, and so Colorado's got to stop putting themselves in this situation where they got to play catch up in every game that they're playing in, and it comes down to the passing game. And the passing game has been there, but one thing that has actually worked for that passing game has been the screen pass with Rodney Stewart.
Yeah, our screen pass has been our most effective play. I mean, Embry loves the screen pass, and he feels it's the most underused play in college football. The linemen, unlike the NFL, they can get down the field, do some blocking, open up holes for Speedy to get down and get some points for us. And I mean, it is a main component of our passing game, but we're not getting the ball down the field as much as we'd like to.
Yeah, like you said, one thing that we can do better is we need to be able to throw the ball better. Tyler Hansen, the passes that he's getting out are not the best looking of passes that they get out there, and I think that's one thing he can work on is having tighter passes and also actually getting them out to the receivers so that they can actually catch them. And they have also got to be able to make some of those catches as well. Some of the guys that have stepped up to help out that passing game has been Paul Richardson, and in this pass game we saw Tony Clemens and Kyle Cepolo both with the touchdown reception this game, and we saw the passing game going a little bit, but again they gotta be integral parts of this offense, and they gotta help spread this offense out so that way Paul Richardson isn't the only one being double teamed out there. He's the most explosive player we have on this team. But again, you're alluding to Rodney Stewart in the passing game. What about him in the running game?
Yeah, I mean, he's doing great in the passing game. He's averaging 150 yards from the line of scrimmage every game, which is great. But he's only averaging about 90 yards on the ground. And that's decent, but if we want to make ourselves a good running team, and especially against this OSU team, if we're trying to compete against them, we're definitely going to have a good running game. And I don't know if 90 yards per game is going to cut it against this tough OSU team.
Well, I think that in this game against OSU, we're going to have to really control the clock, and it's going to come down to the running game. And I think that they need to control the clock because they need to keep the Ohio State offense off the field. And it's not because the Ohio State offense is good. I think it's that our defense is still trying to get an identity. They're still trying to figure themselves out. Right now, they're giving up 28 points per game, and I think that any pedestrian offense right now can score on this defense, and I think that, again, they got to control the clock so that way they can keep that offense off the field. Miami showed that Ohio State defense is susceptible to the run. Now, the Ohio State offense or defense gives up 107 yards on the game, but in that game against Miami, they gave up 240 yards on the ground, and they gave up the ball to Miami for over 35 minutes in the game. So that's one thing that I think that the Buffs have a chance in winning in right now is the running game. I think that Rodney Stewart is warming up in this offense, and I think that what's going to be key is that when they get to the fourth quarter, they have all the running backs fresh, so that way they can keep pounding the rock and wear out that Ohio State defense.
That's definitely going to be clutch, but like we were talking about before, CU is only averaging 90 yards on the ground. So if we really want to keep pounding the rock and keep running like we want to be that hard-nosed team, we have to get more than 90 yards on the ground. I mean, the passing game has been working out, but we really got to get that ball going on the ground. Another thing that Miami did against OSU was they rattled up that whole quarterback situation. OSU is starting a new quarterback, a freshman, Braxton Miller. So a lot of pressure is going to be on our defense, especially Chidera Uzuduribe, John Major, Douglas Rippey. They really need to get to that quarterback, shake him up a little bit, and OSU is prone to throw some interceptions. They've got 4 turnovers on the year. So if we can get to that quarterback, shake him up, we're definitely going to get us some turnovers. One thing that's going to be a challenge is that OSU has only given up 2 sacks this entire year. So if we can overcome that, we're definitely going to come away with some turnovers.
Yeah, these are both keys to this game against Ohio State. I think it's going to come down to who can win the turnover battle and who can also control the clock. If Colorado can do both, I think they have a legitimate shot at winning this game and pull off the upset. Now, earlier in the year, obviously Ohio State was ranked, but now Colorado finds a Ohio State team that's trying to get back in the position to being back in the Big Ten. So I think, again, these are keys for Colorado. If they can win the turnover battle, if they can control the clock, they have definitely what it takes to win this game. Well, I think that's all the time we have for Double Team. Again, along with me, Mike Kerner, I'm Josh Rising. Let's go ahead and send it back to the desk.
Thanks, guys. As you just heard, CU football will be on the road this weekend taking on the Buckeyes. That brings us to this week's trivia question. When was the last time the Buffaloes and the Buckeyes went to the home turf toe-to-toe? We'll have the answer later in the show.
And stay tuned, Christine Corrado went on campus to see what students knew about CU's Pac-12 opponents.
And we caught up with the men's golf team, who 2 tournaments in are already making history.
Sounds like you could use some Van Gogurt. It's fortified with arch-rich nutrients to improve your math and reading skills. Catch!
Van Gogurt, thanks. So what's the deal with your ear?
Always with the ear, huh?
Feed your kids the arts. For 10 simple ways to learn how, visit AmericansForTheArts.org.
Listen well, all of you.
A wildfire
No!
can come from anywhere,
Where?
even the most unexpected places. But 9 out of 10 are caused by humans and can be prevented. Protect our friends in the forest.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Learn more at SmokeyBear.com.
What's for breakfast?
Guten Tag!
Johannes, Franz!
I bring you arts-enriched Raisinblams, fortified with increased test scores and creative problem-solving skills.
It's good!
And good for you.
Bobby? Susie?
Don't worry, that's just the power of the arts!
Feed your kids the arts. For 10 simple ways to learn how, visit AmericansForTheArts.org.
What'd she say?
She said whatever.
No, she says that all the time.
What's that?
Hello? I'm on the phone. Mom, I'm on the phone! Hello? I'm on the phone.
Who's this? It's me. I'm on the phone. Mom.
Oh, you're on the phone. All right. Sorry. Anyway.
Who are you talking to? Kelly?
Mom.
All right.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who would love to put up with you.
Starting out, the new Pac-12 conference brings new teams to CU's radar. SportsMag's Christine Corrado asked CU students if they could correctly identify the Pac-12 mascots.
With the Buffs headed to Ohio State this weekend, we decided to quiz CU students on their knowledge of the Pac-12 mascots.
Buffaloes, Trojans, CSU in the Pac-12? No.
We got Chip. I don't know what Utah's mascot is. Oh, we got the Trojan. What else we got? Ducks.
I think I know 3. The Sun Devils, Wildcats, and the Trojans. I don't know. Who else? Oh, and obviously the Buffaloes, because now they're Pac-12.
Chip. It's the only one that counts, so.
Okay, so Buffaloes, Buckeyes, Trojans, Ducks, Bruins. I think that's all I know.
Oh, Stanford is, I know Stanford. It's either red. Yeah, I'm going to start with Oregon. So, Beavers, Ducks. I think that should take care of Oregon. Then I'm going to go Arizona. Wildcats, Sun Devils. So that's 4. Then I'm going to go Colorado, Buffaloes. That's 5. Then Bruins, Cardinals, Bears, Trojans,
Clearly, the Buffaloes need to study up on their Pac-12 mascots. For CU Sports Mag, I'm Christine Corrado.
Thanks, Christine. Ohio State will hand the keys to a freshman quarterback this weekend against the Buffaloes. Braxton Miller will be under center on Saturday, marking the first time since 2008 a freshman will start for the Buckeyes. Senior Joe Bosserman started the first 3 games for OSU, but struggled in last weekend's matchup against the Miami Hurricanes. He managed just 2 completions on 14 attempts before being replaced by Miller. The freshman completed 2 of 4 passes to go with an interception and a fumble in his first meaningful collegiate appearance.
The men's golf team was looking to make history in just their second tournament of the year. The Buffs won their home tournament, the Mark Simpson Invitational, with BU School winning the individual title for CU as well. Colorado couldn't pull out a win in their second tournament, which would have broken a CU record. Andy McDonald takes a look at the new team and one new face you should be paying attention to on the links.
The CU men's golf team has a win and a runner-up finish in the first 2 tournaments of the year. That confidence bodes well for the remainder of the 2011 season.
As a coach and a team, we can't expect much of a better start, so it's been really good and a lot of fun.
The Buffs have never opened a season with back-to-back wins, but we're only 2 strokes away from accomplishing that feat in Colorado Springs.
The team was playing well and everybody was really competitive with each other and excited to play and get started, and they're playing as well as they expect to play.
That was junior transfer Bo Schoolcraft. Don't let his soft-spoken nature fool you. He shot a pair of 66s on his way to winning the 2nd annual Mark Simpson Invitational in his first tournament as a Buff.
You know, he just brings this kind of calm demeanor to him. He loves playing great golf. It should not be confused with not caring out there. But you know, we can't speak any better things about Bo than what he's been able to do for us.
The Denver native transferred in from UCLA, and his new team is looking to make a name for themselves in the new conference.
We have a chip on our shoulder, and the guys have a chip on their shoulder to get off to a great start and to really do some great things in our inaugural season in the Pac-12.
And individually, with 1 tournament win already under his belt, Bo and the Buffs are right where they want to be.
Keep working hard and continue doing what I'm doing, because I feel like I'm on the right path.
And we want to show people that we're tough and competitive and hardworking, and ultimately we do those things, we're gonna do just fine.
Andy McDonald, CU Sports Mag.
The men's golf team lost at the Air Force Academy in a playoff to UNLV last weekend. All 5 players from each team were forced to replay the first hole in order to determine a champion. The Running Rebels culminated a 2-under par score among its players, while the Buffs finished at even par. Individually, Kevin Kring finished 3rd overall, and Sebastian Heisel tied for 8th for CU. Colorado plays in 2 more tournaments this fall, the next coming in New Mexico in 2 weeks.
CU volleyball took a 1-2 punch this week on the road. The Buffs played the 1st and 2nd ranked teams in the country. Against top-seeded Cal, CU took the early lead in the first set, but the Bears quickly responded to win 25-17. But the Buffs would not go down easily. The second set was a battle of tug of war. There were 10 ties and 6 lead changes, but Cal would hang on to take the second set. On a roll, the Bears would then take the 3rd set and victory over CU 3-0. Up next for the Buffs was Stanford. The Cardinal cruised to easy wins in the first 2 sets. CU had a short spark in the 3rd set, but it proved to be too little, too late, as Stanford won the set and the match. Stanford's Rachel Williams had a game-high 16 kills. CU's Kara Schrader led the Buffs with 13 kills and 2 aces. The Buffs now prepared to play the 16th-ranked Oregon Ducks and Oregon State Friday, Saturday.
Coming up after the break, we will look at a club baseball team as they begin their season.
And Rose Heafy will preview this weekend's weather.
Big dreams and good grades aren't enough to get into college. There are actual steps you need to take. Finding someone who can help is the first and most important. For the next steps, go to knowhowtogo.org.
great things. Find out how a healthy lifestyle can help your child succeed.
The odds of a child being in a fatal automobile accident are 1 in 23,000. The odds of a child being diagnosed with autism, 1 in 166. The odds say it's time to listen. To learn the signs of autism, visit autismspeaks.org.
This is a man who almost learned to walk at a rehab center that almost got built by people who almost gave money. Almost gave. How good is almost giving? About as good as almost walking.
The CU baseball team season is back on the diamond. The 2011 season will be a little different than in years past. They're literally taking matters into their own hands. Mandy Adkins manages to tell us why.
New school year sparks a new season for the CU Buffs club baseball team.
So we're a self-run organization, being a club sport, and there's no Division I baseball team at this school, so we are the team. We're the University of Colorado baseball.
The Buffs have a strong returning squad, technically only losing 2 seniors last year.
This year we have a core returning group. We got a solid pitching staff led by Connor Vigilic. We have a lot of outfielders. We have 6 or 7 outfielders that can all play.
There's one essential part missing from the team, the coach, making the dugout a little bit more lonely this year.
It's been tough not having a coach coming out here, just being students.
And being student ran, you get to learn a lot about yourself. You get to learn a lot about working with your peers towards a common goal.
Practicing 6 to 7 times a week, the Buffs work to improve technique and readiness for the games.
We're putting in the work in the fall, and that's the big thing, to prepare for success in the season. And I think with our approach and the new stuff that we're putting in this year, it's putting a big impetus on working hard, and I think that's going to give us a lot of good results.
Lacking a structural coach does not stop the integrity of this group.
We're not playing the game for some glisten of some scholarship or anything. We're playing for the love of the game at this point.
With the first game of the season just around the corner, the dedication of these players will be put to the test.
1, 2, 3, Buffs!
Mandy Adkins, CU Sportsman.
Thank you, Mandy. CU basketball coach Tad Boyle went to class this week. The teacher? George Karl. The Denver Nuggets opened their locker room to over 20 coaches, including CSU, DU, and Metro State. Day 1 began with offensive strategy, while Day 2 focused on defense. The meeting was the first time the coaches were able to meet with the Nuggets to talk strategy. George Karl is also planning a similar clinic for high school coaches.
And now for this week's trivia answer. To refresh your memory on what the question was one more time, when was the last time the Buffaloes and Buckeyes went toe-to-toe on the turf? And the answer is 1986, when the Buffs lost on the road to the Buckeyes 13-0. Let's hope the Buffs can redeem themselves 25 years after the fact.
That's right, and it might be feeling like fall, but it's still summertime. And Rose Heaphy takes a look at this weekend's weather.
Hi, I'm Rose Heapy coming at you with your Sports Mag weather. We kicked off the fall season with a low 80s today, so we're still hanging on to those summer temperatures. If you take a look at our 4-day forecast, looks like we'll be seeing much of the same. So 80 on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, dipping down to the 70s on Monday with 79. But be sure if you go out at night, it'll be in the low 50s, so bring that jacket with you. And so you can stay warm at night. Now, looking forward to the Ohio State game. If you plan on traveling to Columbus, kickoff will be at 1:30 p.m. That's Mountain Time. Be partly cloudy with 66 degrees, so be sure to wear that nice CU sweatshirt so you can cheer on the bus from the stands. If you're looking forward to going to Nashville to see the Broncos take on the Titans, kickoff is going to be at 11 a.m. That's Mountain Time again. 75 degrees and partly cloudy. We're looking at possibility of late thunderstorms, so be sure to bring that rain poncho just in case. That's it for today's weather. Have a nice day.
Thank you so much, Rose. And I guess that's all the time we have.
Follow us on Twitter.
Don't forget to follow us on Twitter. See you next week.